Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Axis Market Minute podcast. My name is Akshay Chinchalkar, and today is Friday, 31st January. So let's start our day by looking at US equities. US stocks had a volatile end to the session as President Trump said he would impose 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico. The S&P 500 slumped 0.8% immediately before rebounding in the final minutes of trading, while the Nasdaq 100 and the Dow finished 0.5% and 0.4% higher. Talking results season in the US, 151 out of the 500 members that have reported earnings have showed an average of 6.7% earnings surprise. Meanwhile, US data showed robust personal consumption and a dip in initial and continuing jobless claims. And elsewhere, the European Central Bank cut its deposit rate by 25 basis points to 2.75%, the fifth time it's done that since it started moving rates lower. Talking markets, the dollar index rose, the 10-year treasury yield was flat near 4.52%, the VIX dropped and finished below 16, Bitcoin rallied for a second day, gold advanced to another record high, hitting nearly $2,800 as investors braced for tariffs. The metal is now on the verge of having rallied for 5 straight weeks, and oil also recovered after a relentless spate of recent losses. Coming home, the rupee ended lower for the 4th straight day, a streak that was last seen in early January. It settled near 86.63, around a paise away from closing at a record low. Meanwhile, a Bloomberg news story revealed that some large corporates are taking a hit on their earnings as foreign exchange related losses start to climb, while many are rushing to hedge their currency exposures. Coming to equities, and speaking of the Nifty, the index gained for the 3rd straight day as it finished 0.4% higher at 23,250, but not without its share of volatility. The India VIX slumped 1.25 points, its largest daily decline since December 23rd. The NSE 500 also rose slightly along with the small cap benchmark, while mid caps ended the day in the red. Breadth for the NSE 500 was just about positive. 7 out of the 12 NSE sectors ended higher, with realty jumping another 1.8%, while media fell 1.1%. On the Nifty, Bharat Electronics was the best performer for a second straight day with a 4.3% jump, while Tata Motors fared the worst, sinking 7.4%, and volumes touching their highest since 5th March. Technically speaking, the Nifty's intraday reversal in the second half occurred from an area of resistance defined by a falling trend line originating at the December 30 in highs and the 20-day moving average. For today, resistance will most likely be seen in the 23,387 to 23,433 area, while support lies at 23,108. On to foreign flows now, and provisional data showed that foreigners withdrew another 4,600 crores on Thursday, with the outflow streak now worth 20 trading days, another record. Speaking derivatives, in the Nifty's put call ratio fell to 0.97 from 1.14, while that of the bank Nifty's jumped to 0.93 from 0.79. Nifty puts liquidated exceeded the small addition in calls, and implied volatility fell 130 basis points, which meant that on a net basis at the end of yesterday's session, market participants turned bullish. The FII index futures long-short ratio slumped 0.2 points, falling from 0.33 to 0.13. Looking at options concentration for the weekly contract that expires on February the 6th, the trackable range for the Nifty has shifted higher again to 23,200 to 23,500, with significant additions seen at the 23,200 and 23,300 put strikes and the 23,500 and 24,000 call strikes. Meanwhile, in what was surprising with the union budget a day away, volatility fell across the board compared to Wednesday, with demand for out-of-the-money calls slumping more relative to the drop in out-of-the-money puts. Talking positioning via net activity in index options, foreigners and prop traders turned aggressively bearish, while retail investors were firmly bullish. Meanwhile, foreigners' short positioning in index futures was reduced aggressively and ended the day at 173,000 contracts short compared to 224,000 contracts short as of Wednesday's close. Looking forward, the GIFT Nifty was up 190 points. Asian equities were a mixed bag with no notable movements. Talking stocks, Idea and Jubilant Foods were at horizontal support, while Irida and Castrol were at horizontal resistance. Biocon, Max Health and Page Industries were at trendline support, while Bank of India and Deepak Nitrate were at trendline resistance. Talking key moving averages for the NSE 500, 14%, 12%, and 23% of members were above their 50, 100, and 200-day averages as the recovery in breadth continues. Fiscal deficit and FX reserves data is expected from India, while postal income, postal spending, and core PCE numbers will be released from the US. That's a wrap on the day's podcast, and we will see you tomorrow as budget day gets underway. Thank you and goodbye.
Investments in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.